Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in again. It's July 27th. This is Leverage Monkey Analysis Update. What I'm going to update on is the Wyckoff Accumulation stuff is accumulating again, circulating, and what my issues are with the Wyckoff Accumulation theory. Some of the flaws, some of the things that I think of, just basically game theorying it out. So let's get into it. So here, right here, was the Wyckoff accumulation before, let me delete that, before the media and everything helped the institutions, the whales do the markup. And then here was the distribution. So with that being said, that's the overview of what happened. Now we get down into here where the distribution took place, $15 billion in losses from 1 to 6 coiners, 6-month coiners, and the over-leveraged longs that were over-leveraged up here. Then we get into what appeared to be the first part of a Wyckoff accumulation. It was showing textbook accumulation, the structure of the schematic, pointed out that volume was a little bit light compared to, if you look at the volume of the accumulation, if you look at the accumulation volume compared to supposedly this new accumulation volume, it's very low. But also we need to take into context the distribution volume as well. That's the wrong one. The distribution volume as well was about the same as the accumulation. So it seems like maybe all of it wasn't distributed. It was a partial distribution, but so that's quite possible that it wasn't a complete distribution of everything that they had. So they did what appeared to be textbook accumulation here, but then when we got to here is when it switched into a redistribution structure schematic, and the volume was actually dead on. So the accumulation volume was off, low. The distribution volume matched the schematic pretty perfectly. So now we're here wondering, what's going on. So normally they're claiming that this is the spring now in the people that are calling this whole thing an accumulation. They're calling this whole thing an accumulation, and that was the spring, and that this is the show of strength. Well, the show of strength I'm going to argue with here. So here's my argument on why I don't like this show of strength. If it is their show of strength, it's very weak. First off, so when this distribution ended, the schematic, there was only about $2,000 worth of selling where the schematic ended. So there wasn't much selling. The volume was very low. So it could be there was no sellers. That's quite possible. But what happened next was the part that I don't really agree on show of strength, because if I was to do a Wyckoff accumulation in the spring, I would be trying to gather as much spot Bitcoin as I could, as low as I could, and then take it higher. What happened here was very low selling, popped back into the triangle. Then a FTX whale bought spot at 32,000. It was a decent amount for the low volume, but it wasn't really anything to write home about. And then the perp contracts brought it up to 34K. And then on Sunday, when CME opened, they sent it up, causing a short squeeze. So this whole show of strength is small spot down here, perp contracts, and a short squeeze. If I was doing an accumulation and this was the spring, and I was the whale perpetrating this, or the whales perpetrating this, I would be loading spot. I wouldn't be using perp contracts. I wouldn't be using a short squeeze until I already had everything. And if I was trying to get everything, I would be getting it at the bottom of the spring, not in here, cause the spring with not getting much there, and then using perp contracts and then a short squeeze to show my show of strength. That I'm not buying. The small spot buy, which is not small, but and then the perp contracts and the short squeeze, to me, that's not a show of strength. That's a pump and dump right there. So that's my problem with it. That's my theory. That's my opinion. People can disagree with that. I don't care. Yeah, there's higher volume, but where did the higher volume come from? It came from shorts being squeezed. It didn't come from spot buyers. So I don't buy that we're sailing off into the sunset and bull market and everybody's getting Lambos. That show of strength is not enough for me, in my opinion. I'm not believing it. So that's my problem with the Wyckoff accumulation theory. Is first off, the spring is not the lowest point. Also, if you notice over here, that was the low. This one wasn't as low. So that could have been because of the low volume here. Quite possible. But there was a Wyckoff redistribution here, and they definitely did not accumulate there. There wasn't enough time for them to accumulate the coins back. That could be because there was no sellers and they failed. But I don't buy that. These guys are very powerful. Also, they're moving coins off of exchange now. You see them transferring back off the exchange. That could be, that there was such a huge volume brought to the exchange. That could be coins that are just leaving back the exchange again, as a imaginary thing where they brought it to the exchange and then they left the exchange. It doesn't necessarily mean that somebody bought. From what I see, it was majority. There was some buying in here from whales. I'm not going to say there was none, but from what I see, majority of it was one spot FTX buyer at 32, which somebody dumped 100 million of OTC right here at the top. So it's quite possible that guy took profit right there. And he's gone. He's out. He's on vacation now. And everybody else is here left wondering what happened and is this a bull market or bear market or whatever. He's gone. It's quite possible that that's what happened. And so I'm not going to say that this is definitely going to be a bear market or a bull market. But people are getting overconfident with this bounce. You have to look at what the bounce is, where it came from. FTX spot whale buyer who might be gone now. Perp contracts and a short squeeze. That doesn't make me feel comfortable. If someone was loading spot buying like crazy at 30 all the way up to 34K and they didn't stop accumulating and then they caused the short squeeze, I would be saying, yeah, I like that. I like that theory. I like this strength. But with what actually happened, that's not a show of strength to me. So they're saying this is the show of strength and that it's going to come back down here and then it's going to go back up here and it's going to go like this and then it's going to go up and to the all-time highs and then go parabolic and everybody gets Lambos. That could happen. I'm not going to say it won't. Anything's possible. But from what I see, I'm not buying it. I'm not confident. This isn't strength that I'm going to be going all in, aping in on. Sorry, I'm, people are going to say if it goes above all-time high that you were too skeptical and that's why you didn't make money. Rule number one is to preserve capital. Rule number two is to try to make money. So rule number three is to revert back to rule number two without violating rule number one. And so I'm in capital preservation mode. I'm in skeptic mode. I'm not buying it. Um, there's a lot of flaws. First off, went from Wyckoff to accumulation to redistribution. The spring isn't the lowest point, and the show of strength has major. I would like to see a better show of strength. Let's just say that, not a Ponzi scheme pump to just rip the bears that were overextended and trapped and just extort them, which is what we did. So we extorted some bears. We forced them to sell and take losses because they were over positioned and stuck. That's not a show of strength. Spot buying show of strength. Only 39,000 coins, almost 40,000 coins have been accumulated here. So you're telling me these whales did all of this distribution and all of this reaccumulation pattern for 40,000 bitcoins? 40,000 bitcoins. That's what they did all this for? I'm sorry, not believing it. That's my opinion. Please leave comments and stuff. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear other people's opinion if they can poke any holes in my opinion. I love hearing people that disagree with me, but you have to have, bring the facts. Don't just say, oh, I disagree with you because we're going parabolic and you're wrong and Bitcoin's decentralized and it's going to be worth trillions. Yeah, it could be. It is nice that finally money is not going to be controlled by the elite central banks of the world. That is great long term. Yes, I own my core Bitcoin long term. I don't sell it whether it goes up or down. I don't care what value it is. It's to protect me later on from the central banks. That's it. It's insurance. The rest of the time, I'm trading. I have my spot, uh, and I have my leverage that I use for trading. And I only deploy my leverage when I'm really sure that the risk reward is high probability. And even then, as you see, if you saw my trade for the last days, I have pretty good, risk management. I'm not going to say I'm the best in the world. Everybody's a student. Everybody's learning. No such thing as an expert, in my opinion. So I'm not going to say anything and try to brag or say I'm the best or anything. There's lots of profit I left on the table. I could have bought lower, but I always wait for it to show the strength increasing. Like I said in some of my texts, and strength has to improve enough to give me confidence. Then I set my position. I set my stop. And then when it takes off from there, if it does, and doesn't stop me out and takes off, that's when I'm in huge profits that I add to the position as long as strength is increasing. I add to that position on confirmation, and then as it goes up or goes parabolic, I start to scale out with the FOMO buyers at my back. I don't wait for FOMO buying to end and the selling to start. Some people do and say, "Oh, you're giving up profits. You're taking profits too soon. You're scared or whatever." I sleep better. My emotions are better. Not many people will sleep 100% leveraged at nighttime. Um, I can do it with no stop loss. Uh, that's how confident I am in what I do. That's foolish. One day I'll maybe pay the price for it, but I don't want them doing a fake dump and then go back up searching for stops because that's what they do. Now that's definitely not financial advice. I don't recommend doing it. I'm very confident in what I do. I'm sitting on almost 600% profit in Ethereum. So it would have to pretty much go to zero that night that I sleep for me to be taken out. As you sit on more profits, you can become more aggressive, but you still have to look for and have your strategy and stick to it. Look for your signs of strength, and you have to have your risk management in place. And some people say, oh, you don't have your risk management in place if you sleep without a stop loss. Um, I did my research with the FTX spot whale, the perp contracts, and the potential of a short squeeze was likely, highly probable in my analysis. So I did go to sleep with no stop loss. I don't care. I was only at 50% when I went to sleep for the stop loss. So the other night when it went parabolic, I went 100% on the start of the parabolic move, but then I went out to 25% before I went to sleep. If you guys noticed, I went to sleep at like 3 in the morning that night, and then I woke up at 6 again. So I only slept 3 hours with my 25% leverage in. So you can do it. Some people don't recommend it or whatever. It may hurt me one day, but it worked out this time. I don't recommend it for anybody. I've been doing this a long time, and it might have been stupid for me to do that. But when I already took 75% and only had 25% left in, um, it would have had to go pretty much to 29,000 that night for me to start losing money, which I didn't think was going to happen. The shorts wouldn't have been able to reshort in that amount of time. So I was pretty confident that what I had set up allowed me to go to sleep and I took the chance with no stop loss because I didn't want to get stopped out if there was a fake out move down. I thought that the next morning that CME was going to take it and move it up a little higher and touch the 100-day, which happened. So everything was good. So that's my analysis. I don't believe in the Wyckoff accumulation at this point. There's a lot of holes. Volume, spring's not the lowest. The show of strength looks like a pump and dump. We hit the 100-day and got rejected, which always happens in the past bear markets. We didn't go down and fill these two liquidity voids. So that also, we're sitting right above these two big liquidity voids, barely hanging on. And it's matching the bear market with a lot of things, and also matching this mid-cycle Wyckoff accumulation with the RSI and the parabolic pop. So yeah, at this point, I'm not gonna pick a side up or down, but if I have to say for sure, I think that we get maybe to 44 on the top end. There's a lot of people up here that are going to want to get out at break even if we get up into here. So like I said earlier, all the money, easy money was taken. So I took it, and the short squeeze was over. I called it over here. When we touched the the downtrend line for the first time, I called it over, which it was. It was $1.2 billion worth of shorts. It started slowing down that night. It exploded, and then it started slowing down dramatically. So yeah, that's my analysis. Not buying the Wyckoff spring show of strength. I could be wrong, but 40,000 coins accumulated, and the spring not being the lowest point, and the show of strength is basically a pump and dump from one spot whale and perp contracts and then a short squeeze. I would think that, going out of the Wyckoff accumulation, they would want to be buying spot all the way up, especially if they're going to take it above the all-time high. Why would you not want to accumulate that extra spot? Wasted on perp contracts and a short squeeze. So you and then also the 100 million in OTC dump here could have been the FTX whale. So that's my analysis. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. I could be wrong. Do all your own research, not financial advice. Just trying to teach you guys a little bit. Take what is best from each trader and leave what's worse from them. Just basically use them for what you can get. That's my advice. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Bye.